Hello, everyone, and welcome to Journey with Jones and the Livingston Parish Library. My name is Amanda Jones. I am the school librarian at Live Oak Middle School.
And I'm Miss Aimee, and I work here at Denham Springs-Walker Branch in children's programming.
And my name is Mr. Steven, and I am the Teen Services Coordinator at the Denham Springs-Walker Branch of the Livingston Library.
Today, we are going to take you on a virtual tour of polar habitats. Now, if you see anything you like, any of the links that you like in this presentation, and you would like to explore them on your own, down in the YouTube description, you will find a link to this slide presentation, or you can scan the QR code over here on the screen, and that will also bring you up to the presentation. So we're going to examine polar habitats. And polar habitats cover the top and the bottom of our planet, or the north and the south of our planet. The northern part of the Earth is called the Arctic, and the southern polar region is called Antarctica. And I'll be honest, I didn't realize that fact until I started researching this. So I did not know, because we're in Louisiana, so I don't really know that much about the Arctic and Antarctica. But like I said, at the top, the northern part of the Earth is the Arctic, and the bottom is Antarctica. The North Pole is at the top. It's surrounded by the Arctic Ocean. There's not really any land once you get up to the top. There's not a lot of land. It's mostly ice, and it's continually shifting ice. We have Canada and Greenland up here. The South Pole is a continent, and we're going to talk about that. And it is at the south. It is actual land. It's the 5th largest continent on our planet. So let's look at a few of these. We're going to look at some virtual tours of some different areas. And like I said, if you want to explore some more, you can go back into this presentation and you can click on these links to explore on your own. All right, so the first thing we're going to look at are icebergs. Icebergs of Greenland. Okay, give me just a second here. Now, this is a really cool website. It's called Air Pano, and you can zoom in and you can zoom out. And there are all sorts of destinations. Today, we're looking at Greenland, and you can look around. At the bottom, you can click on, is a link to different articles. You can even play sound if you wanted to, but let's look at a few areas in Greenland. So Greenland is at the north of our globe. Now, what we're looking at, and I'm going to try to pronounce this correctly, is called Eluciate is what we're looking at. It's a fjord in Greenland, or it's basically a large ice glacier, and then it's broken up into smaller chunks. But Greenland is the home. I found this to be a cool fact. Greenland is the home to as many sled dogs as there are people. So as many people as there are in Greenland, there are that many sled dogs. We actually had a visitor from Greenland come into the Live Oak Middle Library a couple of years ago and show us her sled dog. So over here, we can look down. Let's look at some more icebergs in Greenland. This is an evening, and you can zoom in. You can zoom out. But the main iceberg in Greenland moves about 66 to 115 feet per day. It depends. But it breaks off smaller chunks. And the animals that you would find in Greenland, of course, would be the polar bear, muskox, Arctic hare, walrus, and reindeer. Those are the type of animals you would find in Greenland. The next place we are going to go to is Antarctica. So now we're going to head south. So let's head on over to Antarctica. Or was that where I was just at? Was I looking at the wrong thing for y'all? I do that a lot when I look at the wrong links. Antarctica. Okay, here we go. No, this is a different area. So Antarctica, look how pretty blue that is. Now, Antarctica is our southernmost continent and home to the South Pole. And this is a really cool website. You can click on this and you can click on the different question marks and you can read more about it. Over here on the right, you can look at some of the different animals. There are penguins. We are going to be talking about penguins in a little bit. But Antarctica is 5.5 million square miles. Large. Like I said, it's the 5th largest continent. It's the coldest, driest, windiest continent in all of the world. It's home to only 5,000 people. And that's in the summer. So only 5,000 people live there in the summer. Only 1,000 people live there in the winter because it is so cold. It was actually the last continent to be discovered, and it wasn't discovered until 1820. But it's home to penguins, seals, tardigrades, which are water bears, blue whales, and narwhals. Water bears are teensy tiny. So these are penguins. We're going to look at some of those in a little bit. We're going to look at the Canadian Arctic now. Now, this is a really cool website. It's a Google Street View. It's a Google Tracks, Google Street View, Google Earth. They're all part of the Google programming, but you can click on here, and this is where we're looking right here. And you can actually walk the snow trails. So using Google Street View technology, you can walk on the snow trails in the Canadian Arctic. You can also scroll down. There's a video about sled dogs and all sorts of different information here. The last thing we're going to look at is the Arctic Live. Explore.org is one of my favorite websites because it has live animal cams, but you can actually go here, and this is the link on our presentation. You can go here and you can look at the Arctic Live. You can click Explore Now. You can see what is happening in the Arctic. You can see there's a beautiful polar bear. You can look at the Aurora Borealis. But those are just some of the places that are polar habitats. Now let's talk about some of the animals. So some of the animals you might see. This is a seal. Let's see. Some of the animals you might find, let's scroll down. Penguins, whales, seals, all sorts of animals. Now let's take a look at the emperor penguin. Emperor penguins are the largest of the penguins. They're actually really huge compared to the other penguins. So they're the largest of all the penguins by far. They can grow up to be 3.5 feet tall, which my mom is 4'11", so they're almost as tall as my mom. And they can weigh 66 pounds. So they're the largest penguins. They're estimated to be 595,000 in Antarctica. They eat fish, they eat krill, they eat squid, and they are preyed upon by seals and killer whales. So this would be the emperor penguins. And if you've never seen the movie March of the Penguins, it's very interesting. Then we're going to look at some Arctic animals on this website. This website's really great because there are all sorts of information. Polar bears, gray whales. We are actually going to look at, let's go back and look at the polar bear. So you can click on this link and you can explore all sorts of different Arctic animals and read all about them. Like you can even adopt a polar bear. So this website has all sorts of facts about polar bears. Now, polar bears are there's estimated to be about 22,000 to 31,000 left in the wild. They're not quite sure exactly how many, but polar bears spend 50% of their time hunting because it's so cold. They have to keep up their metabolism and they spend 50% of their time hunting. They are covered in a thick layer of body fat and their fur is actually water repellent. So when they get in the water, when they get out, the water just kind of rolls off of them. We're actually going to look at a live polar bear cam in just a minute. I also wanted to show you narwhals. Now, narwhals are really cool because they are the unicorns of the sea. A narwhal is known for its tusk, and narwhals only live in freezing cold water. So they're known for their tusk. Their tusk can actually be 10 feet long. They eat halibut, which is a type of fish. They eat squid, they eat shrimp, but they depend on sea ice for their existence. In fact, they spend about 5 months of the year hibernating under the ice. There are only around 80,000 of these creatures left in the wild. Now, did you know that there are also a ton of live animal webcams that you can look at? There is one by the San Diego Zoo. You can actually go and you can watch polar bears. This is live. What you're looking at right now is live. So you can go and watch polar bears. Now, this is at the San Diego Zoo. It's not out in the wild. But you can watch these polar bears. Or there is a website called explore.org. And what you're looking at right now are actually orcas. And you can watch these live animal webcams and you can sit there and watch orcas and see what they do 24 hours a day, really, if you wanted to. So when we're talking about polar habitats, I wanted to include some more resources. This is a great video you can click on and you can watch about penguins and Antarctic animals. There's some more information about polar bears, but I did want to make some book suggestions. So there are several books that the Livingston Parish Library has for you to check out. This one, The Ice Monster, is a fictional book. It's more middle grades. If you like graphic novels, there is, and I love graphic novels. Graphic novels, there's one science comic graphic novel called Polar Bears. And then these two books are for a little bit younger, maybe elementary age, A Polar Bear in the Snow and Just Beyond the Very, Very Far North. So these are 4 books that if you're interested in polar habitats, they carry these books at the Livingston Parish Public Library, and I really recommend checking these out today. Now I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Stephen and Miss Aimee to talk about some of their programming.
Yeah, so these are some of the programs that we have coming up in person at some of our branches here for the week of between June 25th and July 2nd. So on June 29th, we have the Dinosaur Experience. And if you've never come out to see the Dinosaur Experience, it is amazing.
It's an experience.
Yes, we just had it here at our branch and we had over 300 people come see it. So it is super fun. And it'll be from 9 o'clock to 3:30. They're going to have shows every half hour. And that is registration required. So you can go online or call the branch to sign up. Then also on that day, they have Read and Bead Tales, 10 a.m. at the Albany branch. And the Lion King movie matinee here at Denham Springs-Walker at 2 o'clock. On the 30th, we're going to have the Wildlife movie matinee at 12 o'clock at Albany. And also, I just wanted to highlight, Storytime is back and in person at the library. It's Mondays and Tuesdays here at Denham at 10:30 and Wednesdays at every other branch at 10 a.m. And then some other things you can do this summer at the library. Of course, it's summer reading, so that is super exciting. We have our Read to Me program for the little kids. We have, for the older kids, we have our youth program, and for the teens, we also have summer reading too. And all throughout summer reading, we have fun activities in the branch, like scavenger hunts and story walks, and every branch has a different one. So if you play at one branch, you can visit all of them and win more prizes. And then we also have our virtual programs that are still going on. We have virtual story time in the morning at 10 a.m., and then we have virtual bedtime stories at 6 p.m. on Mondays. We have the crafts that we air at 10 a.m. on Tuesdays, and you can pick up a kit to do the craft at home. You can pick it up at the branches. And we have Wacky Wiggles Wednesdays, and that is at 10 a.m. every Wednesday. And Mr. Stephen does Theme Saturdays every Saturday at 10. And the picture on the side is we have a photo prop at our branch. Our theme is Arctic, we're the polar region. So if you come by our branch, be sure to take a picture at it.
We do have some more upcoming journeys. We will have on July 2nd, we'll be touring some grassland habitats. And on July 9th, we'll be looking at the wetlands, which we're actually going to be looking at some swamps in Louisiana when we do that. But you can find this video, this presentation, and all of the information for the Livingston Parish Public Library on both of our social media pages. So you can follow LOM Library or Livingston Parish Library on Facebook or Instagram. Also included our website. If you have any questions, feel free to email us, and we will see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.